In a blistering statement, Jay-Z accuses Jane Doe's attorney of trying to blackmail him. He said further, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away."
The dynasty that once looked untouchable now appears to be cracking in full public view. For years, the Carter brand seemed protected by influence, accolades, and a wall of silence. But that perception shifts the moment a familiar name resurfaces in newly unsealed files connected to Epstein. Almost instantly, social media numbers begin sliding, and screenshots of disappearing followers circulate online like a digital jury delivering its verdict. What many assumed was a long-buried accusation, once tied to a withdrawn lawsuit, suddenly re-enters the spotlight. Behind the scenes, sources suggest damage control teams are working nonstop, complicating matters further. An intake document tied to a 1990s investigation places Jay-Z in proximity to a room connected with a Weinstein assault claim. Then another layer appears. A civil complaint filed in December 2020 for alleging that he and Diddy...
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was assaulted by both men.
He targeted a 13-year-old after the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards. Jay-Z fires back with a defamation case, arguing the fallout has cost Roc Nation close to $20 million annually in lost business deals. A leaked audio clip surfaces that supposedly clears him, yet a sworn statement soon emerges reinforcing the original accusation. That contradiction raises the central mystery. If the recording truly clears his name, why is the backlash intensifying instead of fading? And why do the patterns of follower losses online resemble earlier public relations crises almost frame for frame? What's unfolding doesn't feel like a controversy winding down. It looks more like a narrative engine picking up speed, with the next revelation poised to land even harder than the last. The moment that triggers the latest storm is not a guilty verdict or a formal charge. It begins with a massive release of documents. Buried among millions of pages is a short intake narrative that places Jay-Z in a room during the mid-1990s, where an alleged assault connected to Harvey Weinstein supposedly occurred. The document does not accuse him of a crime. It is not a judicial finding. It is simply a record of a tip submitted years later to federal authorities. Online, however, nuance disappears almost instantly. Screenshots spread across social platforms within hours. Snippets of the intake note are cropped and reposted until the entire story collapses into one claim. He was there. In the current climate, simple proximity becomes enough to ignite suspicion. Observers inside the entertainment industry say the timing intensifies the reaction because the disclosure surfaces while Sean Diddy Combs is already dealing with racketeering and trafficking allegations and preparing for trial. Anyone who once circulated in the same professional circles suddenly finds their names searched and re-examined. In that environment, a background document can quickly transform into a viral flashpoint. Representatives for Jay-Z respond immediately, emphasizing that an intake summary reflects an allegation someone reported, not evidence investigators confirmed. Yet statements explaining procedure rarely spread as quickly as accusations. What dominates a conversation is the image of a location, a date from the 1990s, and the idea that a global music figure might have been nearby.
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint. And in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. Now, the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact-find.
When something terrible occurred. At the same time, earlier claims begin resurfacing. A civil lawsuit filed in December 2020 for alleged that Jay-Z and Diddy assaulted a 13-year-old after the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards. The case was later withdrawn with prejudice, which legally prevents it from being filed again. Initially, that looked like the end of the dispute. Then a recording appears in which the accuser seems to say that Jay-Z did not commit the act. His attorney highlights the clip, telling ABC News that her client did nothing wrong. For a moment, The tape appears to shut down the controversy. But the situation shifts again when the same accuser submits a sworn declaration stating she still stands by the allegation and withdrew the lawsuit because she feared intimidation and retaliation. Now, two competing narratives circulate simultaneously. The recording that seems to clear him and the sworn statement that repeats the accusation. The contradiction fuels debate rather than settling it. Jay-Z's legal team responds by filing a defamation and extortion lawsuit against the accuser and her lawyer, arguing the claims caused serious damage to his reputation and business interests. Industry reports estimate that the fallout may have cost Roc Nation around $20 million a year in potential contracts. That figure reframes the controversy. The discussion moves beyond reputation and into financial consequences. Music executives quietly admit that companies often reduce exposure when a name becomes linked, fairly or not, to investigations involving traffic.
You say greed?
Greed.
The money?
Yes. Yeah. Or the power, one of the two.
I mean, it looks more like power.
It's this spell, right?
Right.
That Jay got. That's why I kind of look at Kanye and Dame and all of them. They the old me.
Right.
They the YouTube me.
Yeah.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? That this Dame look like the old YouTube me to me, because he hurt, bro.
Or abuse. Many partners do not wait for court decisions. They simply manage risk. Because of that dynamic, what began as a disputed allegation evolves into something larger, a perception that a powerful entertainment empire may be entering a period of intense scrutiny. The story twists again when a separate lawsuit emerges. This time the claim comes from a man named Joseph Manzaro, who says he was embarrassed and pressured into an intimate situation during a 2015 gathering connected to Sean Diddy, Combs' son's 17th birthday celebration. In the filing, he alleges that several high-profile figures, including Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and LeBron James, were present and saw what happened. The pushback arrives quickly and with precision. Lawyers for Jay-Z respond by stating he was not even in Florida during that period. According to his legal team, publicly documented appearances place him in New York working on matters related to the streaming platform Tidal. Meanwhile, the Estefan family, whose property is mentioned in connection with the alleged gathering, firmly rejects the idea that such a party happened there between 2012 and 2019. They indicate that records and documentation will support their position, yet the broader pattern repeats itself. A name appears in filing, a denial follows, and within hours the story spreads across social media. For people connected to the Carter Circle, the anxiety now revolves less around formal accusations and more around simple association. Insiders reportedly say they watch the headlines every day, wondering whether their names might surface during proceedings tied to Combs. In the current media climate, even a passing mention can spark a wave of speculation capable of damaging reputations overnight. While attorneys respond through official statements and legal motions, another voice enters the conversation with a very different approach. 50 Cent chooses the arena of social media rather than the courtroom. He posts an exaggerated cartoon image of Jay-Z with a caption that jokingly suggests he hesitated to share it, while posting it anyway. Soon afterward,